Right now at 5, a crash on I-49 near Anderson leaves multiple people injured.
And we've got ourselves a relatively nice start to the day after another rough weekend of severe weather. We'll take a look at that forecast, get you out the door coming up.
Plus, we'll take a look at the aftermath of Saturday night storm and how it affected people's Memorial Day weekend.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning, 4 states, and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5 a.m. I'm Amber Jenkins.
I'm Chris Warner. It is Monday. It is Memorial Day.
It is.
And I know a lot of folks had plans. I know that Elk River, the water levels are up, so they've kind of closed that down. There's some campsites closed because of damage from the storms this weekend. And on Friday, we were telling you if you had Memorial Day weekend plans, you needed to stay weather aware because, man, it has just been a tumultuous severe weather season.
Springtime in the 4 states.
Oh, boy. You know, but here's the thing, though. In all my years here, and I think you folks at home know this, too, I don't think we have had this many confirmed tornadoes just in our little viewing area in years. It has been years. It has been insane. Now, the good news is today is considerably calmer. We're going to finally get a break. Let's start with a nice calm view outside from our camera on top of the Cornell complex in downtown Joplin. There's a bit of a breeze. It's not intense. There's a couple of high clouds out there. It is otherwise not bad. MoDOT camera 32nd in range line also looking pretty good as we get this day underway. And I forgot to take this out. The KDOT cameras are currently down. That's okay. It happens from time to time. I mean, we had some pretty nasty storms. It's inevitable. All right, temperatures. Low 60s to upper 60s from northwest to southeast across the area. So again, not a bad start for us. As we get our day underway, of course, no bus stop forecast. That really wrapped up last week. Got a little bit of a break from the bus stop forecast, which means us parents don't have much of a break from the kids, but that's okay. We love them. We love our kids. We're grateful that they are home with us. If you are out for Memorial Day today, it is going to be a great day. Temperatures into the low to mid 80s, sunny skies, and a light northwesterly breeze at around 5 to 10 miles an hour. We do have some additional showers and storms on the way. The good news is no severe weather is expected at this time. We'll break down that full forecast for you here in just a few more minutes. Amber?
Thanks, Chris. Newton County is just one area that received reports of damage following Saturday night storms. KOAM's Samantha Walker learned more about what damage residents experienced.
The hail woke us up this morning about 2 or 2:30, and but we weren't concerned with the hail, and then we didn't know the barn was gone till we woke up this morning and looked out the window.
In Seneca, behind me, is part of a shed roof that had to be moved out of the roadway after it was blown off by the severe storms. That's just part of the damage that's been found in Newton County.
I was shocked. Like I said, we didn't know the wind was that strong. We just knew it hailed. But when I opened that kitchen window, I was pretty much shocked. My wife was still in bed. I ran in and woke her up and said, "You're not going to believe this, but half the barn's gone." And she got out right quick and come and look.
Shock is the feeling Ron Polk says he had when he learned his barn had seen severe damage following strong storms in Newton County. There have been no reported injuries in the county. The county emergency management director says that while damage was not extensive, there have been reports of downed trees, power lines, and outbuildings receiving damage. Some properties around the county saw small amounts of storm debris land on their roofs, and parts of Ron's barn are being found in his neighbor's pasture. He says more than anything, he is grateful the county didn't experience more damage.
We're blessed that the house wasn't touched, and that we're okay. So God was looking over the house, and just something had to go. The barn was the best thing. There was nothing in there except the tractor and the lawnmower. So.
Reporting in Newton County, Samantha Walker, KOAM News.
The Newton County Emergency Management Director says that while damage from the storms in Newton County may not have been severe, residents need to be aware of concern about flooding. She says those living in the southern parts of the county should take extra caution and be prepared for the chance of flooded roads. Many Elk River campers started their day packing yesterday. Floating and canoeing trips were canceled because of the severe weather that hit the area on Saturday night. Some campsites asked visitors to evacuate the grounds as the river level was growing in the early hours of the day. Some campgrounds said they were sold out because of the holiday weekend, but they prefer to be cautious and avoid putting their customers at risk.
We have a clearance level that we do on the bridge if we can get underneath or not, and so stuff like that, when we do see it coming up, we kind of have it predicted, almost to an art, because it comes every year.
We're just going to float today. We're going to get drunk on the river, maybe fall in a couple times. We got beads for, reasons.
Besides the campgrounds, local authorities said it was also a busy weekend for them, from a car and a truck floating on the river to electricity being down. According to the McDonald County Dispatch Center, from 2 to 8 a.m. on Sunday, they received more than 100 calls related to the storm, twice as much as they would normally receive on early Sunday hours. And don't forget, you can be the first to know about the day's weather with the KOAM Skywatch weather app. Get severe weather updates sent straight to your phone free of charge. It's available in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. The KOAM Skywatch weather app. Joplin's first responders are investigating a crash of a car into a pool house. The incident occurred in the Wildwood neighborhood of Joplin. Skid marks were observed in the driveway of the residence. The car crashed through the fencing and then continued to fall off a 4-foot retaining wall before crashing into a resident's pool house. Joplin's police say the incident happened during the night hours. No one was found in or around the car, and an investigation is ongoing. Yesterday, Webb City police spotted a stolen Kia passenger car in their city. In a short pursuit through Webb City, then south into Royal Heights, ended at Joplin's Ewart Park as the occupants of the car bailed on foot. Joplin police assisted setting a perimeter and taking 2 people into custody. One person was detained by people at Time Park until police got to them. A serious crash on I-49 leaves multiple people injured and having to be transported by helicopter. The incident occurred around 11:30 a.m. Sunday morning near the I-49 mile 10 mile marker. Deputies tell us the incident involved a van and an SUV. Traffic was diverted as emergency crews worked on helping the occupants and clearing the highway. Medical transport helicopters and ambulances were observed leaving the scene. Bates County law enforcement is assisting in the investigation into a small plane crash near the Butler Airport. Officials say they were alerted to the incident around 1 p.m. Saturday afternoon. The pilot was not injured and was in fact able to parachute from the plane prior to the crash. Federal agencies, including the NTSB and FAA, are conducting an investigation. That's a look at this morning's top stories and weathers in your first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News. The Crowder Rough Riders play in their first game at the Junior College World Series. Plus, a stunning hailstorm hits a Mexican town, covering the streets in ice during a heat wave. And we'll have a mostly nice and sunny day today. We'll have what to expect with Chris Warner in the Skywatch Weather Center. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back.
The Crowder Rough Riders are making their first appearance in the Junior College World Series for the first time in 2 years. Crowder begins their run for a title on early Sunday morning. It's the Junior College World Series. It's in Grand Junction, Colorado, as the Blinn College Buccaneers face the Crowder Rough Riders. We're going to pick things up in the top of the third as Cade Kleinman gets his team on the board first with a long solo home run. Bucks take the lead. It's 1-0 Blinn. Bottom of the third, Joey Morton comes through with an RBI single. Rough Riders tie the game, and it's now 1-1. So we're going to go to the bottom of the fourth. Blinn leads 2-1. Cole Kitchens goes the opposite way down the line, and this ball gets out of here for a 2-run home run. Kitchens gives Crowder a 3-2 lead. Blinn gets back in the game as they lead 7-4 in the seventh, but Crowder tries to claw their way back. Ethan Fender hammers this to Souvenir City for a solo homer. That makes it a 7-5 ball game. Bottom of the ninth, Crowder only down 1 run, trying to tie the game. This time, Fender flies out to right field for the final out. Crowder made things interesting. but the Rough Riders fall 7-6 in game 1.
We didn't execute those pitches in the middle, and that's where they separated themselves. But, hey, that's a great offense over there, and we made some pitches to keep it respectable because they could have blown us out of the water there at the end.
The Frontenac softball team returns home from Topeka last weekend. The Raiders make their long trip home with another piece of hardware. On Friday night, Frontenac beat Silver Lake 3-0 to win the Class 3A state softball championship. This is the 4th time in school history that Frontenac has won a state title in softball. Head coach Cassie Rooms spoke about what it took for her team to get that 4th championship.
I felt like every game we played up here was tough. I think we had probably the hardest side of the bracket, and it was good for us. We had pressure in every game. We had to figure out how to come from behind, how to overcome pressure situations, so I had a lot of confidence going into this last game because I knew we'd been tested. I knew we'd been tested, and I had a lot of confidence in my kids.
Half of these girls were in when I won freshman year, so to see how far we've come over these 2 years is amazing.
The Joplin Outlaws wrap up their final game of the season opening series. Joplin still has one more road trip to go before they return home to Joe Becker Stadium. The box score was wild in this series finale, but Joplin's comeback falls short as the Sherman Shadowcats win this game 20-15. Cale Good and Carter Mize each homered in this game. Joplin will head to Fort Smith for a short 2-game series beginning tomorrow night. And the Missouri Tiger softball team is only one more win away from punching their ticket to the Women's College World Series. But the Tigers fall short and lose to the Duke Blue Devils 4-3. Mizzou's season comes to an end at Super Regionals. Still to come, we're going to see why the FDA Advisory Committee is considering the benefits of a weekly insulin shot for diabetics. Plus, another check of that forecast and when rain chances return when the KOAM Morning News returns. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 5:17 on this Monday morning. It is Memorial Day, and of course we want to thank all of those who have served so that we can be here to do what we do, and thankfully Mother Nature giving us a break as well. Maybe her way of saying thank you as we've got a nice calm start to the day out there, a light breeze, a couple of clouds this morning, otherwise clear skies. That was our camera on the Cornell Complex. This is the MoDOT camera at 32nd and Range Line. It looks good as well. And the MoDOT camera down in Neosho at 60 and Missouri 59. Not a bad start to the day. Now, for today, we have got a relatively decent day. As you can see, maybe a stray cloud or two. Otherwise, we're looking at sunny skies, warm temperatures as we go low to mid 80s out there. And we'll have a light northwesterly breeze at around 5 to 10 miles an hour. As we head into the overnight hours, again, not bad. And as we head towards sunrise tomorrow, we're going to start to see clouds gradually increasing. And there's some differences, some variations on model runs here. So we're going to see exactly what plays out. But this is one possibility. It's been showing up for the last several hours, I guess since before I went to bed last night, so about 12 hours. But we could see a line of just little showers, maybe a thunderstorm. The good news is if we see any of this activity, A, it's not going to be severe. B, thunderstorms are not a very high probability as it is, even just regular thunderstorms. We're looking at mainly rain. The bigger concern would be with this line training like this for several hours through the first half of our day, and we could have some flash flooding in locations if we get heavier rainfall. We may just get just enough showers that it just makes for a bit of a dreary start to the day. As we head into the afternoon, though, that will begin to clear out, and we'll do all right with partly cloudy skies heading into late evening and overnight. Then we go into Wednesday morning, and here we are at 5 a.m. again. We have additional chances for some scattered showers and thunderstorms, and once again in the first half of our day, as we head into the afternoon and evening, those will clear out as well heading into our Thursday. So again, the great news is, regardless of what kind of precipitation we see over the next couple of days, no severe weather is expected at this point, and boy, do we need the break. We are 63 in Joplin. The winds are relatively calm out there. It is a bit on the muggy side. Dew point's at 60, humidity is 90%, so the air is a little thick. Temperatures, low 60s to the upper 60s from northwest to southeast out there. So again, not a bad start to the day. We get our morning underway. Boy, it's been a hot minute since I've been able to just simply click on the sunny icon. Sunny skies, 78 by 11 o'clock this morning. Heading into the afternoon, more sunny skies. Again, highs low to mid 80s across the area. We head into the evening, and at least through the overnight, we're going to be clear. We're going to be calm, clear skies, down to 69 by 10. Overnight lows into the low 60s out there. As we look ahead, again, we've got those morning rain chances Tuesday and Wednesday. And we do have some scattered storm chances heading into the weekend, unfortunately. Right now, nothing out there screaming severe weather, but I'll tell you the days we're at least keeping an eye on. We're keeping an eye on Friday, Monday, and Wednesday. Now, that could change, and like I said, there's nothing on the long range that's just screaming severe weather, but it is a couple, 3 days out there. We want to watch for maybe some stronger storms. Otherwise, temperatures, we're now into that warm part of summer, late spring, early summer out there. We're not going to be cooling off a lot. Temperatures upper 70s and into the low 80s, and then next Wednesday, once again, like this past weekend, we could make it near 90 degrees. That's a check of your forecast. We're back with Health Watch right after this.
Topping Health Watch this morning, a U.S. Food and Drug Administration Advisory Committee is considering the benefits of a weekly insulin shot for diabetics. Most diabetics currently take a daily insulin injection to help manage their blood sugar levels. Novo Nordisk, the pharmaceutical company that makes a once-weekly insulin product, is seeking approval from the FDA. During a meeting on Friday, the FDA Advisory Committee focused on the safety and efficiency of the weekly insulin product for both people with type 1 diabetes. The group weighed whether Novo Nordisk has demonstrated if the benefit of the weekly insulin product outweighs the risk. 4 committee members voted yes and 7 voted no to that question. Even if your diet consists of 90% of eating healthy and 10% eating ultra-processed foods, there are still risks of cognitive decline and stroke. That's according to a study published Wednesday in the journal Neurology. The study looked at the diets of 30,000 people who have been followed for up to 20 years. Foods like packaged soups, French fries, and store-bought cookies and ice cream fall under the ultra-processed category. The study found that increasing one's intake of ultra-processed food by 10% raises the risk of cognitive impairment by 16%. 10% was just the baseline. Researchers say evidence suggests a higher intake of ultra-processed foods was associated with a 50% higher risk of cardiovascular disease related to death and even some mental health disorders. Researchers are calling the diagnosis of hyperdeficit hyperactivity disorder an expanding public health concern for U.S. A new study shows about 7 million children, more than 1 in 9, were diagnosed with ADHD in 2022. That's a significant increase in about 1 million more children who receive a diagnosis than in 2016. Researchers concluded the main reasons for the rise in diagnosis could be due to more awareness of the ADHD, or alternatively, they suggested could be a reflection of poor mental health among kids during the COVID-19 pandemic. The study was published in the Journal of Clinical Child and Adolescent Psychology in May on 22nd. In West Florida, a man who survived a heart attack was finally able to meet the Good Samaritan who helped save his life last year. The near-fatal incident happened in Brandon while the man was taking a jog. Mary O'Connell was there for the special reunion.
Just a few days before Christmas, Drew Overly did what he normally would. Go for a run.
I don't remember anything but a beep, like beep, bang.
Along Bloomingdale Avenue near Brandon, Overly dropped to the ground, collapsing from a heart attack.
I happened to be in the parking lot. I was eating lunch. I looked up because I had seen him run past my car a couple minutes prior to me looking up. And when I looked up, he was incapacitated on the sidewalk.
27-year-old Jake O'Brien ran over to help.
911 instructed us to do CPR on him, so I started doing CPR.
O'Brien learned CPR a few years ago, and in the moment, he didn't hesitate. Soon, first responders arrived on scene.
I'm not anybody special. Anybody that knew CPR could have done the same thing in the same exact situation.
Overly woke up at HCA Florida Brandon Hospital, where a few days later, he celebrated his 64th birthday.
There's no words for it. Trust me. I mean, there is literally no words to thank someone for saving your life.
Overly had never met the man who helped save his life until Friday, months later, and stronger than ever when they reunited for the first time. Paramedic Lieutenant Toby Porter, who was right around the corner with the ambulance and arrived within minutes, underscored the importance of knowing CPR.
It took 6 minutes for fire rescue to arrive on scene. So that means Jake did CPR on Drew for 6 minutes. When you start CPR, it allows us the minutes we need to arrive in time and to continue that life-saving measure.
O'Brien will tell you he doesn't feel like a hero, instead pointing to the first responders and hospital workers who save lives every day without many thanks. But still to one, he's grateful to all of his heroes who gave him a second lease on life.
I love you, man. I love you.
The American Red Cross offers CPR training and certifications if you're interested in saving someone's life. That's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
And we've got ourselves a much calmer day across the area after another tumultuous weekend of severe weather. We'll have a breakdown of your Memorial Day forecast when the KOAM Morning News returns.
Right now at 5:30, the Southeast Kansas Humane Society puts on a cat cafe.
And after another rough weekend of strong to severe thunderstorms across the area, our Memorial Day looking much better. We'll have a look at that forecast, get you out the door coming up.
Plus, the 40th celebration of Mission Days kicked off last week and continued all weekend with events for all ages.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning, 4 states, and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5:31. I'm Amber Jenkins.
And I'm Chris Warner. It's Monday. It is Memorial Day. I know we've had some stories about this. A lot of folks, their Memorial Day plans, or trips at least, have been probably canceled at this point.
Rain
due to
check.
severe, literally, due to the severe weather. There's damage at different campgrounds around the area. There's high waters at some of the rivers around the area. So unfortunately, if you were planning something, if you were heading out, you may be heading out as far as your backyard to fire up the grill today. But the good news is Mother Nature at least giving us a break, which
I'm thankful.
Oh my gosh, it's her way of saying thank you to us and thank you to our veterans as well today, because boy, she's just been violent. Let's start with a look outside with MoDOT camera, 32nd and range line in Joplin. Sun beginning to rise out there, and it is a really nice start to the day for us. Temperatures around the region, we are in the low 60s to the upper 60s across the area. So again, it is not a bad start to the day. It is a little bit on the muggy side. As a matter of fact, some of the dew points and humidities out there are a bit on the high side. So if we look outside, we can see that dew points up there at 60 in Joplin. So again, it is a little bit muggy, but it is going to be a relatively pleasant day. We're looking to go into the low to mid 80s across the area, sunny skies, and we'll have a northwest breeze at around 5 to 10 miles an hour. We do have more shower and maybe thunderstorm chances as early as tomorrow morning. Some good news though, no severe weather is expected at this point. We'll break down the details on those morning showers and the full forecast here in just a few more minutes. Amber?
Thanks, Chris. The Southeast Kansas Humane Society yesterday held a cat cafe. The goal is to encourage the adoption of cats at the facility. Adoption fees for the friendly felines were reduced down to only $25.
So right now during this time of year it's kitten season, so there's going to be a lot more kittens that we see. Usually we hold around 30 or so cats. We do try to get some fosters out here, so it's always a good way to help out us, especially is our foster programs.
All available cats are spayed, neutered, microchipped, and up to date on all their vaccinations. The 40th celebration of Mission Days kicked off last week and continued all weekend. The event celebrates the history and heritage of the founding of the Osage Mission in St. Paul, Kansas. Those attended were met with activities for all ages as well as live music, and Saturday's event wrapped up with a fireworks show.
This is a family-friendly event. It's also a good time and completely free. That's the greatest part about it, in my opinion, is that because of donors and sponsors, we're able to provide everything for free. Inflatables, kids activities, and just the camaraderie and community pride that comes with an event like this, hosted in such a small town but drawing such a large crowd.
Sunday's event began with a church service and a Mission Days golf tournament. Friends of Crawford State Park are putting up flags in honor of Memorial Day. The flags went up at 8 a.m. each day during the weekend and came down at 7 p.m. on Saturday and Sunday. The flags will come down at 4 p.m. today. In honor of Memorial Day weekend, volunteers from Peace Church Cemetery Association and the American Legion placed flags at over 24 veterans' headstones at the Peace Church Cemetery on Saturday. Volunteers with the Peace Cemetery say they aim to honor and tell the stories of those who are laid to rest there. From the first grave that dates back all the way to 1846 to the most recent one in 2005. Also taking place at Peace Church Cemetery after the flag ceremony was a veterans tour. The tour takes a look at the lives and careers of 10 veterans who are buried at the cemetery and who served in 4 different wars in our nation's history.
If it wasn't for the veterans of this country, we wouldn't have the freedoms that we have today. So we want to honor them for their sacrifices that they made, whether they made it through a war and lived out their life or whether they died in a war. We want to honor them because they were here to help protect us in this country, and so we could go on further and live our lives as we do today.
All that was asked of the public was that they make a small donation towards the maintenance of the cemetery. People had the opportunity to learn more about the plants of Missouri. The Missouri Department of Conservation held a native plant sale at the Shoal Creek Conservation Education Center. Attendees were encouraged to come and find native plants that they could add to their own landscaping. Vendors and naturalists were available to help talk about the benefits of planting native species.
Seems like every time we have it, we get more and more people, which is a really exciting thing, because not only is it bringing people to the center to get outdoors and explore, but also it's adding native landscapes, native plants to these landscapes, which is awesome for our pollinators and our wildlife. So again, we just couldn't ask for better.
The Missouri Department of Conservation regularly hosts native plant sales like this across the state. The Shoal Creek Conservation Education Center hosts the sales about twice a year. That's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. 8 trucks entered Gaza from southern Israel through an agreement with Egypt. Plus, a young American couple murdered by gangs in Haiti while working for a nonprofit Christian mission. We'll have the latest. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. Topping World Watch. Pope Francis marks World Children's Day in Rome Saturday. Thousands of children and their families were in attendance at the Olympic Stadium, many holding signs of peace as well as flags for different countries, including the Palestinian flag. Around 30 children met with the pontiff personally at the Vatican early Saturday, some visiting from war-torn countries. World Children's Day was established by the Pope as a day to raise awareness for kids who are suffering, including refugees, victims of war, poverty, and sickness. The event will conclude with a Mass in St. Peter's Square on Sunday. A day of temperatures that blaze becomes a day of an icy glaze as a stunning hailstorm hits a Mexican town. Southeast of Mexico City is not supposed to be a winter wonderland, but it had people wondering how a surprise hailstorm could turn into ice as thick as feet deep. During a grueling heat wave, locals went to closets and dug out snow boots to dig out from their homes from under the hail. The icy storm blocked roads, knocked down trees, and damaged homes, and became green slush mixing in with the vegetation. Mexico is in a third heat wave, with temperatures expected to hit as high as 113 degrees. Aid trucks are entering Gaza from southern Israel through an agreement with Egypt. Officials in Egypt say they will not reopen its side of the crossing until Palestinians are given back control of the Gaza side. After U.S. and Israel put pressure on Egypt, the country agreed to divert traffic through Karim Salom crossing, which is the main cargo terminal in Gaza. Despite Israel saying it has allowed hundreds of trucks to enter, the UN says the violence on the other side makes it often too dangerous to receive the aid. A Russian air raid on a shopping center in Ukraine has left 24 people dead and dozens of people injured. Authorities say about 200 people were in the shopping center when it came under attack on Sunday. The missiles set off a fire. 2 fatalities were store employees. The attack came as the Kremlin steps up its offensive in northeastern Ukraine. Russia has repeatedly said it does not target civilian infrastructure, but the United Nations says there has been tens of thousands of civilian casualties since the start of the Russian invasion of Ukraine more than 2 years ago. A young American couple, one of them the daughter of a Missouri lawmaker, murdered by gangs in Haiti while working for a nonprofit Christian mission. The local director of the Haitian nonprofit also killed in the ambush. Correspondent Madison Carpino has the latest.
Mission in Haiti, the nonprofit they all worked for, says that a gang ambushed Natalie Lloyd, her husband Davy, and Jude Montes. We spoke to Natalie's father, Missouri's state representative Ben Baker. He says that Natalie and Davy were dedicated missionaries who loved the kids of Haiti.
Natalie loved it. If you look at her pictures and her interactions with the kids, they loved her. Yes, we had many conversations about all the violence and all the situation in Haiti and how dangerous it was, but it never really fazed her.
Representative Baker says they are still trying to learn all the details of how this happened. He says Natalie and Davy were leaving a church service with all the Missions in Haiti children when a gang showed up, started attacking, and stole the nonprofit's cars. There are no reports of any children being hurt. Baker says Natalie, Davy, and Montes were hiding in a house when they were shot and killed.
Davy and Natalie, if nothing else, they were a perfect example of just selflessness. And that was, they cared more about the people, they cared more about others than they did their own lives. And that was ultimately what they gave for those people.
Representative Baker says they are in the process of trying to get Natalie and Davy's bodies safely home. The situation in Haiti is making that difficult. This comes as gangs still control 80% of the capital, according to the UN. And earlier this week, before all of this happened, President Biden pledged $300 million to a multinational force to help get things under control in Haiti. That includes 1,000 police officers from Kenya.
That's a look at some of your biggest headlines from around the world. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. It is now 5:47 on this Monday morning, taking a live look from our camera on the Cornell Complex downtown Joplin. As you can see, it is a beautiful start to the day and a considerably calmer start than what we saw this past weekend. MoDOT camera 32nd and range line also looking fairly good, as is the MoDOT camera down in Neosho at 60, Missouri 59, looking back to the west along US 60. So, of course, not facing the sun, but as you can see, it is getting a little lighter. Now, for today, we're looking pretty good. We've got a northwest breeze at about 5 to 10 miles an hour. Skies will remain clear and temperatures will be warm out there, but not too bad as we go into the low to mid 80s across the area. Then as we head toward tomorrow morning, we'll start to see some clouds increase, and then there's some variances on the models on exactly how this will play out, but we are looking at the possibility of some showers, maybe a thunderstorm as we go through the first half of our Tuesday. Now, the good news is, again, we're not anticipating any severe weather with this activity. In fact, the odds of actually any thunderstorm activity are relatively low. This will probably just end up being rain, but it will go through the first half of our day. The other issue is if we get lined up showers like this that produce some heavier rain, flash flooding could be a concern because, as you see, it doesn't really move a lot. It trains over the same area for several hours. As we head into the afternoon, that activity will gradually roll out of here, and our Tuesday looks to be partly cloudy. Then clouds increase again overnight Wednesday, or Tuesday night into Wednesday rather, and then we'll see more scattered showers and thunderstorms as we get through the first half of our Wednesday. A thunderstorm activity expected to stay to our south, but we could get some heavier rain up some of our counties, especially in the Missouri and far southeastern Kansas. As we head into the afternoon and evening on Wednesday, that'll clear out again, and then we'll have another opportunity for showers and storms as we head into our Thursday. But again, at least at this point, no severe weather expected tomorrow morning or in our Wednesday either. 63 in Joplin right now. The winds are calm. It is clear, but it does feel a bit muggy. It feels muggy in this building too for some reason. 60 is the dew point, 90% humidity. So we're going to have to contend with that, but otherwise a pleasant day for Memorial Day. A little cooler now in Iola, 59. Everyone else still in the low, mid, and even upper 60s across the area. We get our morning underway. Sunny skies, 78 by 11 o'clock this morning. Heading into the afternoon, again, highs low to mid 80s out there, sunny, and that northwest breeze at about 5 to 10 miles an hour. Clear skies through the evening and through the overnight. Again, it won't be until early tomorrow morning. We see those clouds gradually increase, and a pretty decent evening back into the low 60s. As we head into the next several days, thunderstorm chances do return, and we don't see anything screaming severe weather. I want to emphasize that, but at least some days that we're keeping an eye on for some stronger storms will be Friday, Monday, and Wednesday. Again, nothing out there that looks too terrifying at this point, but just something we're watching. Otherwise, shower and thunderstorm chances from tomorrow morning into Saturday. A little pause on Sunday and a few more scattered storms toward the beginning of next week. That's a check of your forecast. We'll be back with more right after this.
People in a neighborhood in Oxford were greeted by an unwelcome visitor, a large black bear. And as Sean Shalabet reports, it was a shopping for an easy meal.
He's bending the shepherd's pole.
Yes, I know. He's going to break it.
I opened the door. I saw the bear. I turned around, closed the door, and I went to my boyfriend and I said, "Bear!"
Last night, Christy Blaine got up close and personal with this massive bear.
Banging pots and pans and go away, bear, you know?
A little too close for comfort.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, he was beautiful, but I just prefer he was not right in our yard.
This big boy was eating her bird feed, and from the looks of him, he's been grabbing easy meals for a while.
Oh, yeah. He didn't look like he was skinny at all. When we were banging the pots and pans, he just looked up from his little dinner and just sat there munching like, oh, okay, lady, whatever.
I was sitting like a kid, you know, sitting up like this. And people were honking. And the bear just looked over and went back to eating.
The bear has been attracting a lot of attention around here.
People were stopping. We were looking out the window and they're honking their horns, pointing like we didn't know there was a bear in our yard. I called up the police department. I'm like, I have Yogi in my yard.
Police posting a notice to tell people to keep their distance and hide food and garbage. Christy took her feeder down and she's keeping her pup inside. Little Lord Stanley, no match for Yogi Bear.
Blaine says she is going to buy an air horn to help scare off the bear if it returns. We'll be right back after this. A Long Island boy born without a left hand achieved superhero status. 5-year-old Jordan Mar-Owella became the youngest ever recipient of the top-of-the-line bionic arm decked out. The arm was made by Open Bionics, and they say these types of arms are typically reserved for older children, but Jordan's physical development and emotional maturity made him the perfect candidate to get the arm. The mechanic has sensors that detect muscle contractions and respond with the appropriate hand and finger movements. The arm runs on a 14-hour rechargeable battery and takes about a month to make. Taco Bell is finally bringing its Cheez-It items to the menu. The Big Cheez-It Tortilla was the Big Cheez-It Crunch Wrap are headed to the Taco Bell menu. Both menu items have a Big Cheez-It inside the addition to the regular tortilla and Crunch Wrap fillings. The items did a successful test run in 2022 at a store in Irvine, California, and now they're coming to a Taco Bell restaurant nationwide June 6. The new items are only expected to be on the menu until July 17th or while supplies last.
That's something I'm going to have to get out and try. I like Cheez-Its and I do enjoy Taco Bell on occasion, and the combination of the two Sounds like a pretty good deal. And we've got a pretty good deal for you in terms of the forecast today after another rough weekend of severe weather. Memorial Day looking fantastic. Sunny skies through the morning, a light northwest breeze at around 5 to 10, 78 by 11. However, we are going to have to still deal with some high humidity levels and dew points, so it's going to be a little muggy out there, but not bad otherwise. Sunny skies, again, low to mid 80s for those highs. Heading through the evening and overnight, we will be clear, and we will be clear overnight, falling back into the low 60s. However, as we head into tomorrow morning and say until about 1, 2 o'clock, could see a few showers, maybe an isolated thunderstorm or two. No severe weather is expected at this point. And again, some morning showers, maybe a couple of thunderstorms, and those will wrap up by the early afternoon again as well. Low 80s. And then we've got more thunderstorm chances Thursday through Saturday. More storm chances next week with a pause on Sunday. We are watching the possibility of some stronger storms this Friday, Monday, and Wednesday, but the good news is nothing is screaming severe weather at this point, but just something that we'll keep an eye on for you. That's a check of your forecast. We've got a whole nother hour of the KOAM Morning News when we come back.